Hello everyone, welcome back, and I'm here to be talking about my top 10 favorite TV shows. Now, this was a series that I was doing about top 10 favorite video games, and then I did a top 10 favorite movies, and I thought just to wrap it all up for this third, because I have been saying I would do it, I'll do my top 10 favorite TV shows. Now, this was actually pretty difficult to think about, to make a list about for you guys, because I'm more obviously of a movie guy and I play games a lot more. Like, I watch shows, but to really think of like 10 was kind of challenging. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but I was able to think of 10. I even had a few honorable mentions, and those honorable mentions in the future would probably be on the list, but there's more potential for them and more for them to grow before I could really add them. And plus, like, this list, it won't stay the same. I can pretty much guarantee it. Like, in a year or even a few months from now, I might think, oh, this show is better than that show. So this list is as of now. Maybe if it changes drastically, like in a year or so, I might do another video. But with all that said, here are my top 10 favorite TV shows. At number 10 is The Big Bang Theory. Now, you're going to see a lot of these type of sitcom type shows on my list here, and because that's really what I like for my TV. I'll watch some shows that have like really drama or dramatic and like plot points going forward, but for the most part, the show I really like is like you have like a couple main characters. It's basically their daily lives, what they do. They have their little adventures here and there. Like, that's my type of show I really like. I probably didn't describe it as well, but yeah, here what I really like about the show is like, so it follows a bunch of scientists who are happen to be really big nerds, and they're really into like stuff like this basically. So that already got my interest, and you have really great characters and really funny moments. Like, the show would have been a bit higher on the list, but I mean, the last few seasons I stopped watching because it just lost my interest, and it just dipped in quality and writing and stuff and plot points. They were just running out of stuff to do those last 2 or 3 seasons, so I stopped watching really. But if though like the show as a whole was really good. At number 9 is Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Now, this is one of the nostalgia picks because growing up I would watch this show a lot along with some other shows, but the reason why this one really stuck out to me is it really gave birth to a whole bunch of new Star Wars fans, and that's something to really admire. And for how this show, it takes place between episode 2 and 3 of the prequels, and a lot of people really don't like those movies. Maybe now they do compared to what's going on now with the newer movies, but the show really did help a lot of people blindly love the prequels for better and for worse, because the show had really great animation. Maybe not at the start, but as it went along, it got much better. It had really great story moments. It actually gave development to characters that didn't get any development in the movies. It introduced new fan favorite characters. It really just it really showed you how grand and epic the battle was in those 2 to 3 year gap. And it was really well done. Especially, it was on Cartoon Network too, like really well done. And it was a really great show. At number 8, we have Courage the Cowardly Dog. Now, yes, I know I was debating about if I should put this on the list or not, but like I said, like, it was a real struggle to think of shows to, put a top 10. And I really did like this show, and it's one of the best kid shows, especially growing up. So I thought, why not? I would add it. And what made this so great is like, I mean, this show I don't think would really get made today, especially for kids, because there's lots of stuff in this show that's really like, okay, like, it's what it is basically is there isn't like there's some like your main character, like the dog, doesn't really talk that much. Like, there's some episodes when he talks, but it's mostly just him freaking out, and it's the facial expressions and the animations that really sell the show, along with the wacky scenarios that happens. And it's just really it's a lot of fun. It was really great to watch, while I was young, and even looking back on some of these episodes are really creative and really good. And it's one of those gems from Cartoon Network, another show from Cartoon Network. At number 7 is Daredevil. Now, this show, like I like it, but the show is fine. But I think the main reason why I have it on this list, because season 1 and 2 are all right, they're pretty solid. Season 3, on the other hand, is a whole new level. It's some of the best I've ever seen of television, in my opinion. And what made it so great, I don't want to just fanboy out over season 3, because the first two seasons are really good too, and how season 3 ties in a lot, especially to season 1. A lot of threads that were left open from season 1 are tied into season 3, I think is great. But like, this is how superhero shows should be. It's really gritty, it's really mature, great action and fight sequences, really well done storytelling. It's a great show. At number 6 is Once Upon a Time. Now, yes, I put this show on the list because season 7, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about season 7. But the whole show throughout, I thought was really good. Like, it's like building up the stuff. Like, it's really hard to watch an episode at random because there's lots of stuff that's building up to. You'll have your, like, season 1 was basically an introduction season, but season 2 onwards, you would have the first half is focused on this villain and this stuff, and then the second half is focused on a whole new thing. So it's kind of done in halves how the seasons are, which I really do appreciate, and it's something that I like. And how it's like it does all the fairy tale stuff done in more modernized, more mature setting, and I really do like it. Like, some of it is cringy, I'm not gonna lie, and it's really similar to Wolf Among Us, except Wolf Among Us is more mature, but it does that same story elements and how all these fairy tale characters and all that you don't believe in and all are like put into like the real world, but they're under, the curse from the evil queen and stuff, and you have the chosen one, has to come and, it's that, but it goes on from that into a bunch of different stuff where Frozen is introduced in it, Peter Pan and Neverland and all that, the giant beanstalk, Hook, so many different stuff was introduced in the show, but a lot of it was hit or miss, but I really do appreciate and respect the risk and all they were willing to take and just how far they were willing to go with this type of show. And I really like King Arthur and all that's in it. Hell, it's just like, whoa, like I really do like the risk and different fairy tale stuff that they chose to do, and it was a really good show. Number 5, we have Parks and Recreation. The main reason why I checked out this show is because I checked out around 2014, and what made me really love the show, besides Chris Pratt, who is phenomenal, is it reminds me, like, it's one of those shows that where the humor, it's like it's really different because there's no laugh track or anything, but what makes it really funny is it's kind of like the characters are doing stuff and all in their environment, and then they have it where they talk to the camera or it zooms in on something, and it's just that type of, if you get what I'm trying to say, that type of show style I really do like, and this show I think does it at its best. And how they're able to like make a comedy type show off of the setting, which is like they work at Parks and Recreation department, and it gets really like there's lots of like political jokes and stuff. It's really that type of comedy. And I know politics nowadays are really toxic and really horrible to get involved with. So this show, I think, came out just the right time before it got really crazy. And it was able to get away with a lot of stuff it would not be able to get away with today. And again, the cast is just so well done that it works so well. Like, this show would not come out today. And if it did, it would be really heavy-handed. So I'm glad that it came out when it did. It had the cast it did. It had this really great show, and I really do appreciate it for what it is. All right, at number 4, we have Friends. Of course, one of the most iconic, popular, beloved shows of all time had to be on my list. And it's basically the best sitcom. And why I love it so much is that I'm just doing I'm just going on a daily routine, going through, my life and all. And I would occasionally, like, there's that type of movie or show that you think about and you want to watch clips about. Friends, for a while, was that show for me, where there was so many moments and so many funny stuff, emotional stuff, character moments, all sorts of stuff, the theme song, that I would just want to go and rewatch. Like, it was one of the more rewatchable shows for me. And it's just such a simple show. It's about 6 friends living in New York City. That's basically oversimplifying it, really, but that was basically the show. And for it to have such a landmark on television and for it to be so iconic and so recognizable and just really like great for TV, like it's really impressive. And like it made the stars out of all six of the cast members. Like it was one of those shows that if you haven't watched, someone you know has watched. It's one of those shows. And if you haven't watched, where have you been? I know it's pretty old. I think it passed its 20th anniversary recently or something, 25th or something. But it's a great show, and I definitely recommend checking it out. Check it out, guys. All right, at number 3, and I did a review for this earlier this year, Death Note. Wow, this show is amazing, and this show made me want to look into more anime type shows, which I know, oh no, but no, seriously, what made this show so great is it's not your typical anime. It's like the story and characters and all, like it's probably the more like it's one of the more popular animes. I know a lot of people really talk about it and stuff, but I mean, there's some funny moments in it and stuff in it that you're like, oh, it's an anime. But the story and the characters and how they act and the like the lore and stuff, it's really different from other animes you see the stereotypes about and all. And what makes it so great is like it's around 37 episodes, I believe, 20 minutes a piece, and there isn't one episode that isn't unnecessary. Every single episode matters. The story and how you're basically following the bad guy. The bad guy's your main character, and you're just seeing how far and far down in this game that he's trying to achieve his goal of making the perfect world by wiping like it's just so great. It's really intelligent. Like there's so many stuff in the show that made me be like, whoa, that made me really think. The interactions between him and his rival are just excellent. Even after all the main stuff, the last few episodes, which a lot of people were controversial on and didn't really like what happened and all, I thought that stuff was really great, and the finale is one of the best I've ever seen for a show. It's so perfect. It's really well done. How much exposition is done throughout the show is done flawlessly boggles my mind. It's great stuff. And the main theme I think is really good. The theme song, the animation for the time, and it really holds up today. I think it's really great. Like I could really rewatch the show, but it gets really like there's a lot of emotional, depressing moments on this show, and there's lots of like whoa moments, like crazy stuff happens. But it's truly a great show. Like definitely give it a watch. Don't be swayed away because you're like, oh, it's anime. Don't be like that, please. You need to watch this show. It's great. Number 2, Stranger Things. I remember when I first saw this show on Netflix, it was really blowing up, and I'm like, let me give it a watch. I'll just watch an episode. I was like 3 or 4 episodes in, and I'm like, this show is so good. And ever since then, like, it has so much stuff I really like about shows. It has great characters. It takes place in the 80s, so already it's phenomenal. It had like this sci-fi fantasy type feel to it. There's lots of like the soundtrack's really great. It's just an all-around great show, and it gets better and better. And you have like one of my favorite characters, Steve Harrington's in it. He's a character that goes from being kind of a jerk to really being like a true excellent person. And joking aside, he really is a great character. But no, there's so many others, and a lot of the effects and how like the set pieces and like how the stories, like basically you have a big cast, but they do all their side stuff and all, and then they kind of, come together in the finale. And I really like that as well. That's really great. And like the villains are like different each time, but they're kind of similar. And there's like multiple villains where there's the creatures, the CIA and the Russians in one season, and a bunch of stuff. I'm not gonna want to dive into it that much, but yeah, if you haven't seen this show or heard of it, then where have you been? Because everyone talks about it now, like and in recent years. It was like it's like the big Netflix show that really put them on the map for streaming services. It's one of the major ones. All right, before I get to number 1, which is gonna shock a lot of people because no one really talks about this show, I want to say 3 honorable mentions. I was able to think of 3, and Two of these I know would definitely be on the list if there was more to them, but I still wanted to mention them. So the first honorable mention is Hazbin Hotel. Now, yes, as of now, there's only one pilot episode and that music video, so I can't really put that show on the list when that's all I have to go with. But since they were bought by A24, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you saw my video, I'm positive that that show will be on my list at some point in the future when it comes out, and it's gonna be so great. I'm really looking forward to it. I've already gushed and loved about how much I love that show and what potential there is for it. So yeah, that will definitely be on the list in the future. But for now, honorable mention. Another honorable mention is Beastars. Now, the reason why this isn't there is because the first season was pretty good. It was solid, but the story-wise, it was not that good. But character-wise and interactions and all, and how the artsy and all the show was, I really do like. Season 2, story-wise and all, has so much potential since I've read the manga and stuff, and I'm pretty sure I know what they're doing with season 2. It has so much potential to be such a great show, and it could really put it on the list. That's how good season 2 is, if it's done right. So as of now, I don't want to put it on the list just for that alone, but it has the potential. And this third one, honorable mention number 3, The People vs. O.J. Simpson. The reason why I didn't want to put this on the list is because it's technically a miniseries, and even though it's really well acted, shows all the sides to this scandal and this murder and what happens before, middle, after, and how it affects everyone involved. It does a truly phenomenal job. But since it's a miniseries, I didn't really think that counts as like a TV show. So I didn't want to cheat you guys and put that on the list, even though I think it is phenomenal. I just thought I would have to mention it here. So, but yeah, after all of that, we are at number 1, which is Everybody Loves Raymond. Now, yes, a lot of you are probably either like, what is that show? Or if you do know what that show is, really? But this show really hits home to me because it's one of those shows that I would watch with my family growing up, and I can really relate a lot to that show and how I remember like almost all of the moments throughout the show. It went on for around 9 years or so, 9 seasons it had, and the characters, and just it's the perfect type of sitcom show where it's just, you have the husband and wife, and his family lives across the street with their older brother, and it's really funny. Lots of shenanigans and all ensue. Again, I'm oversimplifying it, but it's one of those shows that really sticks with me, and I love it so much. And I could just put it on anytime and watch it and have such a great time. But yeah, with all that rambling and stuff on my list, that was my top 10 favorite shows with some honorable mentions. So what'd you all think of the video? I really do appreciate if you sat through the whole thing, because this video was pretty difficult to make. Just thinking on what to put on the list and stuff. But if you have any favorite TV shows or shows that I didn't mention that you want to put down below in the comment section, that would be really cool. If you want to hit the subscribe button as well, that'd be really great. And hit the bell as well to get notified when I upload. And I really do appreciate you all watching this and sitting through this. It was really fun talking to you guys about this. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you all in the next video, which will probably have a different background because I'm probably going to move the rest of my stuff to the new place like I was mentioning in the last video. But again, thank you all so much, and I'll see you later. Bye.